Hey Group 1, welcome to your reading. So we're starting off here with the Page of Swords. We have the King of Wands, we have the Three of Wands, we have the Six of Wands, we have the King of Pentacles, and we have the Nine of Pentacles. I think maybe it was in my singles reading where I had a group where the King and King of Pentacles came out, but I could be remembering that wrong. If you're from that group, comment down below, because I could have sworn I had a reading where it was a love reading where the King of Wands and the King of Pentacles both came out. But anyway, so in terms of your future partner's physical appearance, what is striking me first, just looking at your cards here, is that they have a stern expression. They have kind of like resting witch face, like they look serious. And I think it's because they always have a lot on their mind. They definitely are in their head a bit, but they're really focused. They're the type of person where they always have a million different things that they have going on. Like they're very busy, very motivated, very goal-oriented. They could have a really demanding job. It does feel like your person is very financially successful. They're a go-getter, and they definitely are more of like a type A kind of person, but I think that kind of lends itself to this seriousness that they come across as. And if you didn't know them well, if you were just meeting them for the first time, or if you were just observing them from afar, you might think that they come across as like snobbish or stuck up because they just have this very stern expression, but it's just because they have a lot on their mind. So they're the type of person that's always thinking about, what do I have to do next? Like they're not really very keyed into the present moment. So they're not trying to be rude or trying to ignore the people around them. They just have a lot on their mind. They have a lot going on, and they're just busy. And so they have that kind of stern expression. They may speak in a way that's kind of like short and to the point, but again, it's just because they're busy. They have a lot going on. And I will say as well, they dress pretty expensively, or it looks like they dress expensively. This person doesn't look sloppy. They look pretty put together, and that may be because of sort of how they have to show up in their professional life, and so that kind of just carries over into their personal life. So they have good hygiene, they look put together, they don't look messy. They're not the type of person to go wear pajamas at the grocery store. When they leave the house, they look like they put in some effort, okay, into their physical appearance. And I will say as well, like there's an aspect to them that looks very cultured. So there's something about them where they might wear like nice tailored pieces, or they may wear something that they bought on a trip. And so, it could be like maybe they bought a nice suit when they were visiting Italy or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing out examples, but there's something about them where they look well cultured. I don't know. I think maybe that lends itself to them sort of looking like stuck up a little bit, because they may be the type of person to overdress. They're not definitely the one in the room who is underdressed, so they may overdress for certain occasions, or they may have certain like status symbols in their wardrobe. Like maybe they have like a really nice watch, or maybe their earrings are real diamonds. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of just look like money is what I'm trying to say. They look like money, but more, I guess more like old money, because it's not really flashy. It's like, I don't know, they just look really put together, and they look expensive, but not in like a gaudy, garish way. Like they're not wearing, for example, like they may be wearing a designer piece, but it's not like branded with that logo everywhere. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Or if they do have more expensive pieces in their wardrobe, it's like they bought those investment pieces. It's not, you know how certain designers release things and it's just so ridiculous, and it's like, who would pay money for that? You know, like something that's like super trendy looking and will, you know, be out of style next season. That's not the kind of designer pieces that I'm referring to. I'm referring to like your classic wardrobe staples. And so like when they buy something like that, they're buying it because it's high quality, not because of the brand label, and they know the difference. And so I don't know, like maybe they come from money, or maybe one of their parents was a good dresser and they like passed this on to them of like, you know, buying nice pieces but doing so in a way where you're being smart with your money still. And so they have this sort of investment pieces that are wardrobe classic staples. And so I definitely think a lot of this comes from them trying to dress for their job, though. I feel like this is really tied to their professional life, and they just got kind of in the habit of dressing well, and so it's just somehow now more comfortable for them to be dressed nicely than to be walking around in sweatpants. Like, even though physically it might feel more comfortable to be in sweatpants, I think with their personality and just like what their habits are, they would feel out of place. They would feel uncomfortable in a social setting wearing like sweatpants and slides or Crocs or something. So yeah. Anyway, I know we're kind of getting into their personality too, but you know, I think that's nice, you know, in this kind of reading to get like additional messages. So hopefully you guys don't mind that too much. But yes, so in terms of their wardrobe, they dress, I think, pretty classically. Okay. I'm trying to think if there are any other messages here. I will say, like, once you get to know them better, you know, the more, I guess, I don't know why the word truer is coming through, and I don't even think that's like not truer. The more authentic version of themselves comes through once you get to know them better, because it really is like sort of like this mask of like professionalism, and like once you get past that sort of like serious facade that they put up, they are really someone who is quite fun. They're really adventurous. They like to have a good time. It kind of gives the energy of like your uptight boss, and then you see them outside of work like laughing and drunk at the bar, and you're like, is what? You know, like, I can't believe that's them. I can't believe they're the life of the party. But you know, that's part of what has made them so successful in their professional life, is that they can be charming. It's like they almost kind of reserve that aspect of themselves for when they need it. And so I kind of feel like this is someone who is actually introverted but is really good at playing the part of an extrovert, and is really great at tapping into that energy when they need it. So it's like their secret weapon. You know, like they just, you know, they save up that energy for when they need to impress a client or give a pitch at a meeting, you know, that sort of thing, depending upon what they do for work. You know, like they could be a doctor, and so they save that side to themselves for when they're talking directly with the patient, but then when they're talking with their colleagues, they're like super serious. And so it's just like flipping on and off a switch. So they kind of just conserve that charming side to themselves, that fun, lighthearted side to themselves for when they need it, for when it serves them. And then yeah, you know, they're an introvert, so they only have so much, right, before they need to pull back their energy, which is totally fine and valid. So yeah, I do think this person is quite witty and clever as well, but again, like, that side of them comes out more so when you get to know them. Yeah, okay, so let's get into these further messages with your oracle. Oh, this is cute. We have magical powers and glamour. Yeah, this person knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing. With the glamour card, they definitely are the type of person who is aware of like what their most attractive features are, and so they play those up. So this is someone who knows how to style themselves, knows how to dress well, someone who knows how to dress for the part. This is also, okay, I'm gonna share something personal with you guys, and don't laugh at me, but I have like really fine flat hair. Like it's super soft, but you can't do anything with it. and it has no natural volume. And I use this tool where it's almost like a crimper, and so you use it on the top of your hair, but you use it on the bottom layers, and so you don't use it where anyone can see, and so then you have a layer of hair to cover up the crimped pieces. I hope I'm making sense. And it gives the best volume. Like, it beats a blowout any day. People think I have like nice thick hair. I don't. People think I have voluminous hair. I don't. But it's because of this tool, and it literally changed my life. And so now I love my hair, whereas before couldn't stand it because it was so flat no matter what I did. And this tool is like the best thing ever. And so with this glamour card, it's reminding me of that, because it's like, it's smoke and mirrors, right? Like, I look like I have thick hair, but I totally don't, but it's because I know how to style it finally. And so it's got that kind of energy here with the glamour card. Like, they know how to play up their strengths. So if this is a woman, like, she knows how to artfully apply her makeup, or if this is a guy, like, he knows how to I don't know, like, how some guys, like, when they grow out their facial hair and they have like a beard or something, it completely transforms their face. I heard someone say that like beards were like contouring for men. It could be like that, or this could be someone who knows like how to work out at the gym to I don't know, like, how some guys work out at the gym, but then they only ever work out their arms and they look kind of like they'll topple over, like they keep skipping leg day, like that commercial. This is someone who like knows how to maximize their workout to meet their fitness goals. This could be, there's a lot of different ways this could play out though, right? But like, this person knows how to play to their strengths, right? Like, we all have features that are uniquely attractive, and we all have aspects of our physical appearance that maybe we're not a big fan of. Like, for me, I didn't like my flat hair, so I figured out how to work around it, that kind of thing. But yeah, and I think with magical powers here, you are very physically attracted to this person, and that's why I said it was so cute that this came out, because quite frankly, you're pretty mesmerized by them. There's something about them that just does it for you, group one. So I don't know what it is, but if you have something that like turns you on, like maybe for you, you're a hair person, or maybe you really like someone's chest or their arms or their hands, I don't know, but like whatever physical feature is like kind of like your kryptonite, like you're like, man, I'm always falling for people who have tattoos, whatever the case may be. I would say that that's most likely what this magical powers card is referring to, because you are very much physically attracted to this person. Okay, let's continue onward. Also, with the repeating purple here, you could be having like maybe some dreams about this person, or seeing a lot of signs about this person before they actually come into your life. Or maybe this person wears a lot of purple, but that's obviously like a very literal interpretation. Okay. Purple too is associated with like royalty, and this person does come across as someone who is quite poised, right? Like, and remember that like stern expression, and like royals are meant to be quite serious, right? So I feel like that works out well too. Okay, it's actually, I always have more space than I realize, so let's just move this down here. Okay, we have family, we have strength. Oh, I don't know if I said this in the beginning, but thank you to the subscriber who suggested this topic. I don't think I said that. Okay. We've got strength and we've got fertility. Okay, a couple different messages coming through. I'm going to try not to get tripped up here because it's a lot. With the family card here and fertility coming out as well, this person could give off like mom or dad vibes. Like, how some people just look like they would make a good father, or they look like they would make a good mother. So if this is a woman, she may come across as someone who's like, seems like very nurturing and warm, and has a very like inviting energy, and seems maybe like soft-spoken, or you know, like someone, because I always think of a mom as someone that you could like open up to, or like a shoulder you could cry on. So yeah, they may have that kind of like warm, cozy sort of energy. Whereas if you think of a father, and I'm speaking in very like stereotypical terms, but when we're talking about physical appearance, we are kind of dealing in like stereotypes and first impressions and things like that. But anyway, if you think of a father, you do think of like more of like a disciplinarian, or someone who has a more stern expression, or like someone who's more in like a position of like authority, you know, that kind of thing. So just apply this, you know, how it resonates, but that is coming through like mom or dad vibes. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you want children with them, but it did come through. I mean, we have the fertility card for Pete's sake here. Now, with the family card as well, you could find that they just look like their brother, or they bear a strong resemblance to their mother or their father. So, you know, and this is something that, okay, I'm going to share something personal with you guys again, but like I had step parents growing up, and like my siblings are not, like I have a stepsister and I have a brother that I share a mother with, but we have a different father. And so it always tripped me out when I would go over to my friends' houses, because they looked so much like their siblings, or they looked so much like their parents, whereas in my household everyone kind of looks a bit different. And so like my brother has like blonde hair, blue eyes. We don't look even remotely related. And so yeah, it could be that when you go over and you know, if it gets to that point in your relationship where you're meeting their family, you'll see a strong resemblance between like them and their siblings, or you're like, man, you look exactly like your dad, or you really take after your mom, that sort of thing. I knew this one kid in high school, and like everyone in their family had the same nose, you know, like that kind of thing. Okay. Now with the strength card here, I feel like this is kind of harking back to that thing we were picking up on before, where we were saying that they really knew how to maximize their fitness routine to meet you know, those physical health goals, or well, I mean, people work out for a variety of reasons. I mean, it does help with like mental self-discipline as well, you know, and releases endorphins, so it can help your mood. But anyway, this person really probably does have a regular exercise routine or regimen that they follow, and they do appear physically strong. So if it's a man, you know, they probably seem really muscular. You know, if it's a woman, she probably looks very fit. So anyway, okay, let's continue. I probably don't need to over-explain some of this stuff. We've got nurture and we've got wellness. Yeah, oh my gosh, they really take care of their physical body, 100%. So this person eats well. You know, they're not eating fast food all the time or junk food. This is someone who definitely has like a self-care routine that they stick to. They kind of like parent themselves, you know, like they have their ducks in a row. They're not, again, like a messy, sloppy person. They're just really responsible, and that responsible sort of attitude doesn't stop with their professional life. They apply that to how they physically take care of themselves. So they're like a good parent to themselves. You know, that's kind of like what adulthood is, you know. Your parent is no longer taking care of you. You are now taking on that role for yourself and taking care of yourself. And so yeah, this person's really responsible. And I do feel like, again, like there is a softer side to them. You know, like that serious, stern kind of outer exterior where they seem cold, or they seem, you know, maybe a bit aloof or snobbish, stuck up, isn't really who they are at their heart. Like they really do have a big heart. They really do, they care about the people closest to them. And I think that's part of why they work so hard, is that they may be taking care of a parent, or they may give money to their younger siblings, or they may like to treat their family to vacations and things like that. Like they do have a very giving heart. And I know we're supposed to be talking about their physical appearance, but I don't know, that message came through and I thought it was a nice one to share. There's also something about this person where you're going to be surprised to find out how much they love to cuddle and snuggle. As they definitely they like that a lot. They like that a lot. They're very affectionate, and I think that is again going to surprise you. It may be more, I'm not really picking up like PDA from this person, but more so like, you know, they'd be kind of sneaky, like, you know, if you guys are out and about somewhere, if you guys are alone together, like in the elevator or you're in a stairwell for a few moments, they might sneak a kiss or hold your hand beneath the table or something like that. I don't think they're trying to make out with you in the middle of a restaurant. I'm not saying that, but they are very affectionate. Okay. And we are going to get some messages about your love life at the end as well. So we have Connect with Fire. We have Nourish Your Temple. We have Music. And we have Massage. Okay. I'm gonna move this over. Okay. So I actually want to talk about this music card first. So they may be a musician, or that could be a hobby for them. But in terms of their physical appearance with this music card, there's something about the way this person moves, and they're really deliberate in their movements. You know, this person, you know how some people kind of just walk slowly and kind of meander about? Like this person walks with purpose. Remember how I was saying, like, they have a pretty busy, hectic kind of lifestyle, and they're a real go-getter. They're someone who's trying to accomplish a lot of things all at one time. And so, you know, this person's not just like ambling about, like they walk with purpose, but there's something about their movements, and I think because they move with intention, that comes across as very like graceful or poised. You know, this person isn't clumsy. And I think it's because they're very focused on what they're doing and what they plan on doing next. So they move with intention. And I think there's just something about that you're really attracted to, because like when they walk into a room, they kind of command that attention, and they sort of carry themselves in a way where it's clear that they have respect for themselves, and so other people respect them as well. You know, like if they are a supervisor or a manager, or they own their own business, whoever is beneath them shows them respect. And when I say beneath them, I mean like beneath them in terms of like the hierarchy of their workplace, not beneath them in like a personal way. Just want to make that clear, like we're all equals. But yeah, whoever works for them is really, yeah, you know, like they respect them. This isn't like, if they are in a leadership sort of position, which I wouldn't be surprised if they were, but if they were in a leadership position, they're not the kind of boss who's trying to be your bestie and is letting everyone walk all over them. You know, like, not to say that they're like a micromanager or they're rude to whoever works underneath them, but, you know, they expect respect, you know, and I think, you know, that's like what you want, you know, from a boss. I don't know. I've had supervisors and managers who were overly friendly, and it doesn't end up being good, because there's always going to be one employee who takes advantage of that, and then everyone else has to suffer for it because the manager's too afraid of someone not liking them, and then it just sucks for everybody else. So yeah, I feel like they're definitely a good leader. Also with this music card, there's something about them just being really in alignment or in tune with like what you like, you know, like there's just something there about that. I don't know, like there's something about sort of the vibration that they're operating at that really does it for you, especially with that Magickal Powers card that we got. Like, I feel like this person might be your type, or there may just be something about them that you can't resist. So it could be just one aspect of them. It could be, again, like the way that they carry themselves that you find really attractive. They have nice posture, you know, they're not like slouching. They're not sloppy. They're not sloppy. Yeah, so there's just something about them. I just keep hearing like something about them, you know, and it may be something that you can't quite put your finger on, you know. It may be like their aura, like their energy itself, you know. You know how like music isn't something that is like tangible, like we can't touch it, but we can hear it and we know when we like it. And it may be hard for us to express why we like a certain kind of music, but we just do. Our body responds to it because we want to dance to it, we want to move to it. That's kind of like how you're relating to them, if that makes sense. Okay. And now with the massage card, there is something very sensual about this person. And I think that you're going to be kind of admiring them from afar at first, and they may be doing the same thing to you as well. You know, this may be like a mutual crush before it turns into something solid. But I definitely feel like you could be noticing them just kind of living their life, and it, especially if you work with this person or if you guys see each other in like the same social setting, you could just be noticing, you know, like small details about them, like the way that they eat or the way that they walk or the way that they I don't know, like interact or talk with other people. There's just something about them and the way that they move that really turns you on. And with Nourish Your Temple, I feel like this is just really echoing what we've been talking about before, that they really do take good care of their physical body. That's something that they prioritize. You're going to find this person eats in a healthy way. They take care of, you know, like their physical self-care. You know, they take care of their physical body. And so I think that's a good message to have here as well, because we were talking about them being like a go-getter and being really busy. But even though that is true, they still make time for rest. They still make time to go to the gym or to work out, or to cook a healthy meal. You know, they're not burning themselves out. Like, they recognize the importance of taking care of yourself. Like, health is your wealth kind of thing. Now with Connect with Fire, I mean, that's that King of Wands energy coming out again. Like, there is a spicier side to this person. There is a funny, charming, charismatic side to this person. There is a level of like physical intensity here. Like, you're really physically attracted to this person. Like, they do it for you. Sparks are flying, you know. And I think it's definitely a mutual attraction, and it could be like, you know, like a love at first sight kind of thing, or it could be that you end up falling in love with this person as that side of their personality is revealed. But yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, and even when you think about the way flames flicker and move, there is something about the way this person moves that you're just really turned on by. Okay, so let's get some love messages now. We have let go of control issues. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. Maybe both you and this person like to be in control. We have forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. Okay. So, you know, there may be some like resentments, trust issues, maybe some self-limiting beliefs that you have from like past romantic entanglements that you need to resolve and let go of. Or this could just be encouraging you to not bring that kind of emotional baggage into this relationship, or don't hold this person accountable for the mistakes of your ex, you know, that kind of thing. You know, just take that message if it resonates, no judgment. With the let go of control issues, that's hard to do, right? Like, it's super hard to do. But I think if you can go into this connection with an open mind, don't try to rush it or like force this person to adhere to your timetable. You know, like, be respectful of their boundaries. They'll be respectful of yours. You know, you guys need to have open communication in terms of like what your comfort zone is, what you need from a relationship, what your expectations are, or what your standards are, or what pace you're comfortable at going, you know, that sort of thing. You know, just don't try to like force this person into something. Especially I think honestly, where there could be maybe some miscommunication here could be that this person does put a lot of time and effort into their career, and early on in the connection you may interpret that as them not prioritizing you, or maybe they're seeing somebody else. Maybe that's why they didn't call me back or respond to my text message within a certain time frame, and you may take that personally when they were just busy with work. And so I could see that being maybe where you guys miscommunicate in the beginning. And so that would just need to be a conversation that you two have to resolve that issue. We have differences. We have control again. We have confusion, and we have maturity. Okay. I actually really like this because I think that this is just saying some advice for this connection. Like, again, those control issues. And a lot of times when people are trying to control something, it's from a place of anxiety, right? So I think that especially with this person presenting with King of Pentacles and King of Wands energy, which, by the way, if I didn't say so, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy is indicated with the King of Wands, with the King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And any time that we talk about King versus Queen, we're talking about masculine versus feminine energy. We're not referring to gender, okay? But anyway, I think especially with this person presenting with the King of Wands and King of Pentacles energy, this is saying they're the type of person to where you can have direct, open communication with, and they would appreciate it. And so if you are having feelings of anxiety, if there's something that they're doing that is triggering you, just express that. Or if you are confused by this person's actions and you don't know what to make of it because it's early on in the connection, express that. And you may find that they're misinterpreting some of the things that you're doing as well, because with the differences card, this could be like opposites attract, or it could be that there are just some differences that you two need to resolve in the beginning of this connection to understand each other, because they're a different person than you at the end of the day, right? Like, they're not going to interpret things or see things exactly as you do because they're a different individual. So just have that open, honest dialogue with the maturity card, and everything's going to be okay. It has a sunflower on it, right? So this can be a really great connection. There's a lot of potential here for growth, but you have to let your differences make you stronger rather than tearing you two apart. And so it's really, I think, letting things develop organically. Don't try to force things just to make yourself comfortable. You have to, you know, respect what makes them comfortable too, and compromise somewhere in the middle, right? Because that's every relationship. There's always going to be some kind of compromise that has to happen. You know, like you're never going to find the perfect relationship that requires no effort at all, right? Like, even with a soulmate connection, or I don't care, twin flame, true love, whatever like label you want to throw at it, you still have to put in effort, right, to grow something. Okay, I actually, guys, give me 1 second. I want to do something extra for you guys. Okay, so I have this really pretty astrology book, and I actually have the tarot deck by the same artist and author. But anyway, I want to get 3 possible Mars sign placements for this future partner, and we're gonna look in this book and read out the description just because I really want to use it, and it'll be something nice to do for you guys. Actually, let's do Mars and Venus because those are the, you know, 2 placements that really come into play, you know, when you're in a romantic partnership with somebody. So let's actually start off with Venus. So we'll get 3 possible Venus sign placements because, you know, there's a lot of you watching. And just use your intuition in terms of like what you claim. Okay. Venus sign placement for group 1's future partner, please, Spirit. We've got Leo. Oh, that's fun. Okay, Venus and Leo. The person with Venus and Leo can be loving and devoted, but they'll need, at the very least, for their partner to reciprocate in kind. If not, they'll quickly lose interest. They tend to be confident and enjoy flirting. Yeah, Venus and Leo, I mean, that's a good placement. They just definitely will need attention. Okay. And you know, now, you guys can take this with a grain of salt, but I have read that a Venus placement in a man's chart refers to the type of woman that they're attracted to. And obviously this is kind of like heteronormative, but that's why I said take it with a grain of salt. And then in a woman's birth chart, the Mars placement can refer to the type of man that she's attracted to. But anyway, okay. We've got Aquarius. And Leo and Aquarius are opposite signs. The person with Venus in Aquarius will flee from ties that bind and will be attracted to unconventional, cool, and extravagant people with whom they'll be able to establish a close bond. They're not jealous at all if the moon doesn't contradict this. Venus in Aquarius, I feel like that's someone where you would have a solid friendship with them too. Like it wouldn't just be a romantic partnership. I also feel like a Venus in Aquarius wouldn't keep you like on a tight leash, but Venus and Leo would be kind of possessive, so However, Venus and Leo would be pretty confident as well. I don't feel like they would be controlling, but they would expect your attention. Okay, now we have Venus in Virgo. People with Venus in Virgo often rationalize their feelings and don't get carried away by romantic impulses or uncontrolled passions. They need security, but they're demanding, so they can tend to be alone. Yeah, Venus in Virgo is the type that's going to have their standards. Like, you're not going to walk all over someone with a Venus in Virgo whatsoever. Yeah, they're going to be someone who prioritizes their needs, similar to Venus and Leo, but I feel like Venus and Virgo would be more stern about it. Like, yeah, like these are my expectations, okay? Like, you're not going to treat me like a doormat kind of thing. Okay. Those are all very different possibilities, so whichever resonates the most with you. Or if you're a woman and one of those sounded like you, and you're interested in a man, okay. So let's get some Mars sign placements now. Group 1. Leo. Okay, so Leo twice now. Mars and Leo. People with Mars and Leo can be attractive, daring, funny, and impulsive. They like to be adored and recognized, but they can be quite proud. They're passionate and affectionate at the same time. I'm always biased towards Leo energy, though. That's my sun sign. Okay, let's see. Ooh, now we have Scorpio. This is going to be intense, Mars and Scorpio. This person will be very attractive, fiery, and mysterious, and charismatic, and will stir up great passions. They tend to be confident people who choose their partners, and they're determined and emotional. Okay. I feel like Mars and Scorpio, like you're gonna have a lot of emotional depth there, like, but they're gonna be private about it. You know, there's gonna be a lot of layers to get to that point with them. Okay, let's get one more. Oh, Scorpio again. So definitely Leo energy, because you got Venus and Leo and Mars and Leo, sorry, and you got Mars and Scorpio twice. Okay, and I do feel like that Mars and Scorpio is kind of significant because there's more to this person than that outer shell that's, you know, quite serious and seems super professional. Like, there's another side to this person that is very fiery, that is really passionate, that does have that depth, for sure. Okay. And I will say, like, Scorpio and Leo are both fixed signs, so this person might be a little stubborn, or a little set in their ways. But I think, honestly, like, especially given how we were getting all these messages about them being successful in their career, or probably having a position of leadership within their job, that they're probably used to calling the shots. And so if you also kind of have a strong personality, I could see how you two might clash in some ways, or how there might just need to be some communication there so you're not misunderstanding each other. Yeah, okay. Not every single message is going to be like all rainbows and sunshine, right? Like, so I mean, you know, I think definitely this person's very intelligent. This person is mature enough to work through whatever these differences is referring to here. Okay? And I think also as well, like, if you have a fear of rejection, or you have a fear of abandonment, or you were cheated on or lied to or betrayed in your past romantic partnerships, or that's like a childhood wound for you, just understand that that's something that needs to be healed within you, and just be careful not to project that onto them, and that may be something that mutually you two both need to work on. Yeah, okay. So, group 1, this was your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. And again, thank you to the subscriber who suggested this topic, and I will see you all in my next one. Please take care. Welcome to your reading. So we have the 5 of Cups, we have the Page of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Swords, we have the 9 of Cups, we have the 10 of Swords, and we have the 4 of Wands. This is such a different energy than group 1. Such a different energy. I would like to say also a thank you to the subscriber who suggested this topic. But anyway, let's get into it. Your future partner, and actually when I was shuffling your cards, I kept accidentally thinking future spouse, so this may end up being the person that you marry for some of you. If you're not interested in that, just leave that message. But they have such a sweet, open kind of energy to them, and what you see with them is kind of okay, let me phrase it this way. They're the type of person that could be going through hell. Like, they could be going through the worst time in their life ever, and you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it. Like, they always kind of present in this like happy-go-lucky, open-hearted, kind of way. Like, they're the first person to laugh at a joke. They have a smile for everyone. You know, like, they are the type of person to like hold open a door for a stranger. Like, they're just a kind, sweet kind of person. And yeah, and they're always very polite. They're always very polite. And they just don't really like to show when they're struggling. And it's not a matter of pride, but it's more of, I don't want to be a burden to anybody. You know, like, I don't want everybody else to be miserable because I'm miserable, which is really sweet and nice, because some people, if they're having a bad day, they have to ruin it for everybody else too. And your future partner's not like that. You know, they just try to see the bright side of things. They try to keep their chin up. They try to keep moving no matter how difficult things are. And they're kind of like, I'll fake it till I make it kind of thing. Or it's actually reminding me, so if you guys saw my last community post, I was talking about Vanderpump Rules, and I was actually watching a podcast video of, or like an interview on YouTube, whatever, of one of the cast members, and she was talking about, her name's Katie, and she was talking about going through her divorce and how it was so hard because it felt like all of her mutual friends with her ex were being more supportive of her ex rather than her. And she's like, it's really unfortunate because even the people closest to me don't know when I'm struggling, and part of that is because I try to act with the law of assumption. So I try to assume that I'm living my best life and act as if, you know, act in that manner, and people take that as if I am living my best life, and they don't really provide me any sort of like emotional support or compassion, even though like inside I feel like I'm dying. Those weren't her exact words, I'm just paraphrasing. But yeah, your future partner is kind of like that. Most people don't know when they're struggling. And because they have this kind of sunny outlook, and because they try to live their life looking for that silver lining, they may also kind of minimize their problem, or they have this sort of underreaction. And I kind of relate to this energy personally. Like, I remember at this clinic that I used to work at, my coworkers complained so much. Like, the things that they were complaining about were so minuscule compared to like what was going on in my home life at that time. But if I compared like my attitude at work versus their attitude at work, and I'm not trying to be like judgmental, but I'm like, man, like they're just being like really, really negative. Like, they have this horrible attitude. And if I showed up to work based upon like what's going on in my home life, you know, like, you would think I have no problems in the world if you compared my attitude compared to theirs, even though like what I was going through at that time was a lot worse than like what they were dealing with, based upon what they told me, mind you. But yeah, like, your future partner has that kind of energy of like, you know, you would be so shocked, you know, like, if you didn't know them that well and they actually came clean and said everything that was going on with them, you'd be so shocked, because they just seem like they don't have a care in the world. And so that's kind of like, and I know I'm talking a lot about their energy and their attitude, but I think that that can really influence someone's physical appearance, because they're not walking around with a scowl on their face. They have this really open, inviting energy. They seem really friendly. They seem really kind. They're very polite. And the way they carry themselves, you know, like, shoulders back, head held high, you know, like, they seem confident, they seem happy, they seem self-assured, you know, they just seem, again, like they're la-di-da-di-da, like they have no care in the world. They always seem like they're down for a good time, and they kind of are, you know, like, because again, they very much like fake it till they make it kind of thing. I will also say, getting more specific into their physical appearance, I do feel like they have like they have close cropped hair. So if they, and I know it's an odd expression, but it's the one that came through. So if they're a man, they don't have like long shaggy hair. Or if they're a woman, they may have a bob, or they may have a pixie cut, or they may just have hair to their shoulders, or they have like, they wear their hair straight. And if they're a man, they may have a little bit of waviness to their hair, but their hair just seems like it's like clean cut, I guess. You know, it's nothing wild. They don't have a mohawk or a side shaved head, you know what I mean, like, or an asymmetrical haircut, or a big like curly mane of hair. I've always wanted like big curly hair. I was not destined to have big curly hair. But anyway, yeah, so this person just has, you know, like just straight hair, or maybe a slight wave, but it's very like, I guess like tidy, like there's nothing like wild and like, you know, lush, I guess, about their hair. It's just, yeah, like cleanly styled. Anyway, I hope I'm expressing this this well enough. Also here, there's something as well. They have a nice smile. They have a nice smile, and they smile a lot, so it might be something that you just notice right away. You also know how some people say you can have like kind eyes. They have kind eyes. I don't know if they have like warm brown eyes. I always think of brown eyes as being kind, and I remember I may have referenced this before, but there's some kind of like clip floating around on Instagram where they sit celebrities down and they hook them up to like a lie detector, and they were asking, I think his name is Shawn Mendes, I could be wrong, I'm like 98% sure that's his name. They were asking him about Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend Joe, and they were asking if he trusts him or something like that, and he's like, no. Or he said, yes, I do trust him, and they're like, you're lying. And he says, well, I don't really trust people who have like icy eyes or gray eyes or blue eyes or something like that. He said he trusts like people with brown eyes more. He doesn't know why. I got that from him. Like, I understood where he was coming from, because there's something like, I don't know, there's just something very warm about brown eyes that just seems more inviting, or that just seems softer. And so it may be something weird like that, or it could be like the shape of their eyes, but just something about their eyes. Or they have like those nice, like, I don't know why I like eye crinkles, but they might have like those crinkles around their eyes, and that would make sense if they smile a lot, right? Because that's how I think that's how we get those crinkles. So yeah, they just have kind eyes, whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like to you. Maybe you're like Shawn Mendes and you weirdly favor brown eyes. I don't know. But there's something about their eyes that seem really kind to you. Okay. I will also say there is something about this person's physical appearance where it's hard for you to get them off of your mind. There's something about them that kind of just latches into your psyche. So there could be some sort of physical attribute about them that just really turns you on, that you're really attracted to. So it could be their hair, because we spent some time discussing their hair. It could be the shape of their body. You know, maybe you like like their body type, or maybe they're really tall and that does it for you. Or yeah, something about their physical appearance, though. It's something specific. So it's like one thing about them that just really, really does it for you. I do feel like this person probably has like fuller cheeks, or they could have dimples, or like a cleft chin. Like there's something about their facial features that, I don't know, like something about it that gives them a sweeter, more approachable kind of face. Like they don't seem really cold or stuck up or like unapproachable. Like they seem like a very approachable person. And that may be because of their smile. I mean, it really could just be because of their smile and those kind eyes that we were talking about as well. Yeah. And I also think, you know, because we were talking about them being, or at least having the appearance of being confident. And so I think when someone's confident, they come across as more comfortable in their own skin. And when you're comfortable with yourself, other people feel comfortable with you as well. You know, like if you feel awkward or you feel just not good in your own skin, that can affect how other people relate to you, right? Like, because you just seem tense, right? So this person doesn't have that kind of issue. Okay. This is also the Golden Girls Tarot, and I didn't use that for any other group. So this could be like a friends to lovers kind of situation, or like a second chance romance situation. There's also, I mean, it's the Golden Girls. They love to eat cheesecake, right? So this person could have a sweet tooth. We're just getting extra messages now. And I really think, especially because I was drawn to the Golden Girls Tarot, and it's a TV show all about friendship. So you probably will have a strong friendship with this person. It won't just be a romantic partnership. You'll genuinely enjoy their company, spending time with them, the kind of relationship where you're like, even if I wasn't physically, romantically attracted to them, I would still want this person in my life because we're such good friends. Yes, okay. Let's see. Nine of Cups, I mean, this could really be like a wish come true. A wish come true. Especially if you've had a series of disappointments in your love life, or honestly, I feel like you two are going to mirror each other a little bit. There could be, you know, a conversation between you two where you're like, man, we have been through a lot of the same kind of BS, you know? And I feel like you two are going to relate to each other really, really well. I also feel like there's something about this person that reminds me of Candy Burris on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, she's always been, at least from what I've seen, like one of the wealthiest people on the show. Not, you know, like some of them seem like they spend outside of their means. Whereas, like, even though she's like one of the wealthiest people, if not the wealthiest, she always spent her money wisely, and always, like, even from like her house and her wedding, like she's able to do a lot without breaking the bank. And so like your person kind of has that energy when it comes to their style, like balling on a budget. Like they look really nice and you'll think that they spent so much more money than they actually did. So, you know, like they're kind of thrifty in that way. Yeah, like they don't break the bank on their wardrobe, but they look really nice. Okay. We have Grace, and here we have the three Graces. I think they stand for youth and beauty, mirth and laughter, elegance. I think that's what they represent. So your future partner could have those qualities. They could look young for their age, for sure. And we were talking about them seeming like really confident, self-assured, comfortable in their own skin. So they, you know, they don't have that, I don't know, they're not socially awkward, I guess. Okay, we have dream, sweet, sleep, deep. They seem like they don't have a care in the world. That's how they really seem. And I think this person has been through some stuff. I feel like you would just be shocked to hear what they've been through, but they don't carry that energy with them. They look well rested. They could have full-on insomnia, but they look well rested. They look like they have their stuff together. Oh my gosh, you have the card of friendship. And I was going on and on about that because it's the Golden Girls Tarot, so that's really cool. So yeah, you really could be friends with this person first. But I think, you know, they have that appearance of like, that's the kind of person I'd want to be friends with. Like, they just have that kind of energy. You know, like they are very approachable, you know, they seem very open. They don't seem intimidating. They may be the type of person where you go places with them and you find people just telling them their life story. Like, you'll be shopping with them somewhere and you'll be like, where did they go? And then you see that they're held up on like aisle 3 by some stranger who's just pouring out their whole heart to them. You know, like your future partner here just has that kind of energy to them where people approach them and feel compelled to open up to them. I feel like there's something about their physical appearance too where there's a lot of, and this is kind of an odd message, but there's a lot of consistency with them. So if I think about the TV show The Golden Girls, each actor or character on that show had kind of like a set role, and so their wardrobe would reflect that. Blanche was the flirty, promiscuous one. Dorothy was the academic, witty, clever, kind of sarcastic one. And then, you know, like Rose was like the sweet, innocent, wholesome one. Sophia was like the wisecrack. You know, kind of a little bit like Dorothy because she was her mom, but she was the tough one. She was the one you didn't want to cross. And so they kind of dressed to reflect that, right? Like Blanche would wear like looser, trendier clothes. Rose was always covered up or wearing like pastel kind of colors, whereas Blanche was more flashy. Dorothy would wear more structured pieces, or she would wear more muted colors. Things like that. And so I feel like your future partner has a certain style or aesthetic that they kind of stick to, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, and it's reflective of their personality. So I'm not going to get super specific with it because it is a general reading, but there's something about their style that's very consistent. And so they may wear similar silhouettes over and over and over again. They may wear similar colors over and over and over again. They may be the type of person, and I am 100% guilty of this myself, where they find something that they really like and then they buy it in like 5 different colors. You know, so it could be that. Or, yeah, they may have a certain kind of outfit that they wear over and over. I'll again use myself as a personal example, but I wear like a skirt, tights, flats, some kind of like fitted top combo, and then I'll just change out the skirt, or I'll just change out the color of top, but it's kind of that same outfit, you know, just like repeating. It's the same silhouette, and so it could be something like that. But it definitely matches their personality. And yeah, again, it may be a conscious thing, it may be a subconscious thing, but there's something about their wardrobe that is very much like reflective of who they are. Okay. We have closure here. We have career. And we have finding. This person may work in a profession where they have to wear a uniform. So if you think about like anyone working in the medical profession, they might have to wear scrubs, okay? Or, you know, if they work in an office, they may have to dress in like business casual clothing, something like that, or they may have to wear a suit. So with the career card coming up, I feel like that's saying like, you know, like when they're leaving work, they may say like, oh, I need to go to the grocery store, and so they may wear their work clothes out more. So something like that, like maybe when you meet them or you have that like initial encounter with them, it could be that they're in their clothing for work, okay? Or maybe you meet them in their workplace, like if they're, I don't know, like you go to the hospital and they're your nurse or something. I don't know. I guess it could be speaking to that as well. Or you work with this person, they're your coworker. Or you could work in the same field as each other. That could be like a little hint for you guys. Now with the finding card here, I feel like, I mean, just look at how sweet her expression is. And even the butterfly speaking to like transformation and healing. I feel like this is again echoing your future partner's personality and how they really do look for that silver lining. They try to look for the reason behind why something happened instead of getting upset about it. But I also feel like this is also kind of talking about how your future partner is someone who has kind of had a glow up, but I feel like it's not just one glow up. I kind of feel like they kind of consistently improve upon themselves. And it's not just their physical appearance, but given that that's what we're trying to focus on today, that's what I'm going to talk about. But they really do, they kind of just evolve, you know? Like, this is someone who looks better as they grow older. Like, they just age like a fine wine, you know? Like, they find a better way to like dress themselves the older they get, or they age with grace, you know? They aren't out there getting a ton of fillers and Botox and, you know, not looking like themselves. So they age gracefully. I feel like they just find sort of maybe like a better fitness routine, or they find sort of maybe a better routine to wind down at night, so they get more sleep at night, and so then that positively impacts their physical appearance. But it's just like they just get better with age. Yeah, and then with this closure card too, I feel like honestly part of what makes your person so attractive is that they really are someone who is in the here and the now. Like, they really try to focus on being fully present, and that makes you more attractive to other people. Like, when you're actively engaged in the conversation, you're actively listening when someone is speaking to you, you're not distracted, you're not on your phone, you're not mentally somewhere else. You make other people feel valued, you make other people feel seen and understood when you hold space for them and you're actively engaged and you seem like you care when they're talking to you, right? And that is part of what makes someone so charming. That's part of what makes someone so attractive, is just giving their full undivided attention. And that's part of what really kind of draws you to this person. Yeah, I feel like your partner, like a lot of what I'm describing, quite honestly, like they would make a great therapist. Like, a lot of the qualities that they have would make them a great therapist. That's just kind of a side message, but active listening, active, compassionate, reflective listening, like they're good at that. That's a skill that they just sort of naturally have. And they make people feel important, you know, and that's part of what makes them seem like they would be a great friend. Yeah, and I feel like your person just has a love of people. They really do. You know, they try to see the best in people. They try to help other people when they can, not at the expense of themselves, but they really are just great at holding space. They're very emotionally intelligent. They make other people feel good about themselves. They help other people feel comfortable around them. They just have a very, again, like just warm, sweet energy that makes them feel like a safe haven for people. You know, like you're a safe space. Okay. We have clarity. You know, with the Ace of Swords and the Clarity card here, it kind of gives this energy of like, what you see is what you get. Like, it's funny because like on one hand, your person seems like they don't have a care in the world, even though they've been through a lot, but it's the way that they alchemize that. It's the way that they find that silver lining. And so then it feels like authentically like I'm not weighed down by the baggage of the past because I've healed and I've released it and I've turned it into a life lesson, you know? And so it's that attitude that they have that I think is really refreshing. And yeah, they're not pretending to be something that they're not, even if they have to fake confidence until they achieve it. Even if they have to pretend that they're okay until they achieve it, they will get there. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of, that may be like a difficult message to absorb, but I don't know. I hope it makes sense. I hope I'm expressing it clearly, because it's like because they believe in themselves, it becomes that authentic version of themselves, because eventually they do get to that place of self-development. Okay. Enthusiasm. Yeah, like I mean, especially with the Four of Wands and them dancing here, like, again, like your person's the first person. We also have creativity. Your person's the first person to laugh, the first person to suggest everyone get up and dance, you know, like they have the ability to be like the life of the party, and they don't like seeing other people down, and they may take it upon themselves, you know, to get other people in a better space, and sometimes that can get them into trouble when they take on too much ownership for other people's moods. But they do, you know, they try to be the light in the room. With creativity here, I feel like this is speaking again to their style, and they may not be able to express their style at work. You know, if they have to wear scrubs, or they have a certain uniform they have to wear, or a certain kind of dress code. And that may be why their hair is the way that it is. Like, for example, like if this person's in the military, like I know there's a lot of rules about, you know, just your physical appearance in general when you're in the military, and obviously they have to wear a uniform, and so it may be that in their downtime when they can express themselves, they really like to express themselves, you know, in any way that they can, and so that could be through their personal style. And also here with creativity, I feel like that's echoing that sentiment again of like falling on a budget and being thrifty and creative with their style in a way where they're not breaking the bank, but they still look really good. And again, I think there's something very youthful about their appearance. Like they really look good for their age. Like they look young for their age. We have family here. This card came out in a different deck in group 1, and the message there was that they may like take after their mom or take after their dad, or they may look like their siblings, or there could be like a strong like physical trait within the family, like everyone kind of has the same nose kind of thing. So that message could resonate here as well. With family though, I just feel like this is more so speaking in this group to the idea that this person just feels like home when you're with them, and there's something about their energy in particular that may remind you of sort of that feeling that you would get when you think about home and family. Like there's something, again, like very cozy, very like instantly comforting about this person's energy. Like they just make people feel safe, and that includes you. You just feel safe and at ease with them. So, you know, it could be something about their voice. It could be something about their laugh. It could be something about just a little thing about them that reminds you of like home and family. Anytime, like for me, anytime when I see someone with like really like clear blue eyes, I think of my great grandmother. She had like the most piercing blue eyes ever, and I mean she was like a big mother figure to me when I was a kid. Like she was really like my mom, and so, you know, when someone has blue eyes like she had blue eyes, it instantly makes me think of my grandmother, and I associate that with home. So, I mean, it could be something, I know that's a weird message or a weird example, but there just could be something about them that reminds you of home. I don't know, like maybe, for example, maybe your family is from another country, and this person is also from that culture, and so they just remind you of home. Like both of you are you know, from a different place, or your families are from a different place, and so you instantly kind of have that connection with each other of being from the same place, or your families being from the same place, the same culture. So something like that. I'm trying to think of another example of how this could apply. Oh, I mean, I get maybe this is the same sort of example, but let's say you move across the country. So let's say you're from the South in the United States, and you move to the West Coast. And then you meet someone there who is also from the South, and like both of you have the same accent and it just reminds you of home. So something like that, okay? Okay. We have beauty ritual. Okay, so this person does have like a self-care routine. They do take care of their physical body. And again, like that balling on a budget thing, like, you know, they're not out here getting really expensive facials or whatever, but they take care of themselves. This person smells really good to you. I don't know why that message is coming up, but there's something about the way that they smell that you really, really like. I wouldn't be surprised if this person has like a signature scent like they have, because there's something consistent about them, remember? So they could, yeah, like have a certain perfume or cologne that they always wear, and then you start to associate that smell with them. And yeah, so it'd be a smell that you like, obviously, because we were talking about you liking the way that they smell. This person could also have tattoos, but I think that they would be in places that you might not be able to like immediately see. So they could have one on their leg, and so unless they were wearing shorts, you may not see it. I do think this person knows how to accessorize, but again, they may be limited in their ability to express their personal style depending upon what they do for their job. So it may just be in their downtime hours that they're able to kind of show that side to themselves. And then we have connect with earth. Yeah, there's something like very grounding, cozy, warm again about this person's energy, but I also feel like they could be quite outdoorsy. So I don't know, like group one had more of this energy of like they go to the gym, whereas with your person, like I do think that they take care of themselves physically and do like exercise and things like that, but I think for them it'd be more like going on a hike, going for a bike ride, going for a walk around their neighborhood, you know, that sort of thing, like more of like an activity versus, or like, you know, it's just part of their lifestyle. Like maybe they walk to work, or you know, they're the type of person to take the stairs instead of the elevator. So they just kind of incorporate a lot of physical movement into their day-to-day life versus like I go to the gym, you know, kind of thing. Okay, so we're gonna get oh, hold on. I'm getting some more messages now. This person may be taller than you. There's something about this person having really strong arms as well. That may depend if you're asking about a man or a woman here, but message, you know, did come through. And I'm also being drawn now to like the crystals here. Again, I think there's something very healing about this person's energy for people in general. I wouldn't be surprised if some aspect of that is incorporated into what they do for their work. Like maybe they work in the mental health field, or they work in any sort of like healing profession, or their job requires a lot of social interaction, because I feel like they're just really good with people. I also feel like this person's an animal lover as well. Okay, now I think I'm done with the messages with that part. Okay, so we're gonna get some messages about your love life, and then we're going to use my astrology book that I love so much. It's just so pretty. We're gonna use this to get some possible Venus and Mars sign placements for this person. We're gonna get 3 of each, and then we'll read the descriptions that are in here. Okay, just to mix it up, because I feel like we're always getting sun signs. Okay, so we have daydream here. We have spy. We have memories. We have flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. And we have healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Okay, that's a pretty specific message. Okay. Couple different things here. Okay, so You could share past lives with this person with the memories card. Like this could be a soul family member or someone, you know, like a soulmate connection. For others of you, this could be someone that you do have a history with. I'm not picking up energy of an ex, although we did mention second chance romance, so it could be that. It could just be someone that you grew up with, someone from your past, or like I said, it could be referring to sharing past lives. I also feel like though, regardless of which message you're resonating with, this is going to be someone where even if the connection doesn't last, you know, even if this doesn't turn out to be the person that you marry or the person you spend the rest of your life with, this is still going to be a relationship that you look back upon fondly, that you have good memories with this person, that there's a feeling of nostalgia there. So even if this doesn't work out, I don't see it being a connection where you're super bitter and resentful about it. It's going to be like, oh, there's, like, I don't know, like I feel like you would still feel like, oh, we had some good times together. There are some really good memories there. And I feel like you would still cherish that. Now with spy here, it could be that you meet this person on social media, you meet them through online dating. Could also signify that you have a crush on this person or they have a crush on you. And it could be as well, every time I see this card, I think about how some people try to look other people up on social media before they go out on a date with them. I don't have any social media. Like I have my Instagram account, but it's just cat pictures. And so other than this, I really don't have any social media. And I've had that happen so many times on dates where people will cop to that. They'll be like, I tried to look you up on Facebook. I couldn't find you anywhere. And I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna, because I'm not on it. So yeah, it could be something like that. With the daydream card here, I definitely feel like this is echoing that sentiment that you will probably have a crush on them first, or they will have a crush on you, or this may start off as a friendship, because there's kind of just this energy here and I can't stop smiling. So we were talking about this person smiling a lot. There's something here where I feel like both of you are going to fantasize about what it would be like to date each other before it actually happens. And with the flirt card here, I feel like there's going to be a lot of playfulness between you two. And again, like kind of an energy where you're friends and everyone's like, when are you two gonna get together? Because there's all of this like tension between you two and everyone thinks that you two would make a great couple. Like, why don't you just get together? You know, that sort of thing. And with healing family issues, we were talking a lot about how this person almost like has this energy where they would be like a great therapist, like they're really emotionally intelligent, really great at holding space for other people. So you may end up healing any wounds that you have from childhood, or anything that's lingering for you could be partially healed, I think, through this connection. And it could be that that's the purpose that they're meant to serve for you, because I mean, of course, like we do our own healing work as individuals, but I also think we learn a lot through our connections with other people. And you know, like that's part of like why we have connections with others. You know, we learn from each other, we learn through our relationships. And so it could be like a mutual thing, like both of you find this connection to be really, really healing and comforting, because we were talking about like this person has been through some stuff in their life, and you know, like they've come out on the other side of it. But you know, you may be that one person that they really open up to and really share with you everything that they've been through. And so, you know, you may get that deeper emotional aspect to them that other people just don't get to see, because they like to keep it light and fun and happy, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and start with Venus signs. So I'm going to roll the die 3 times. Venus sign placement for group 2's future partner, please Spirit. We have Taurus. I love this. And like I was telling group 1 And you can take this with a grain of salt. And like I was telling them, this is like a very heteronormative kind of perspective, but I have heard people say that the Venus sign placement in a man's birth chart refers to the type of woman that they're attracted to, whereas the Mars sign placement in a woman's chart can refer to the type of man that she's attracted to. But again, just take that with a grain of salt. Okay. Or if it doesn't apply because you're not asking about a heterosexual relationship, ignore what I have just said. Okay. So Venus and Taurus. It says, people with Venus and Taurus are characterized by needing security in their relationships. They are calm and loving, but they also rationally look for a partner who doesn't cause too many headaches, likes to pamper them, and showers them with attention. I like a Venus and Taurus because I feel like weren't we talking about them being sensual? Maybe that was group 1. But I feel like Venus and Taurus, I was talking about Candy, and she's a Taurus on Real Housewives of Atlanta. But anyway, Taurus people, I feel like, really appreciate the pleasures that life has to offer. And we do have connect with the earth. So I feel like this is someone where you will really enjoy the time that you spend with them. Like, they make the best out of things. And so you'll spend time out in nature with them. You'll have fun adventures, do fun activities. This person's very active. Remember, we were talking about them having a very active lifestyle. You will eat good food with them, you know, like you will enjoy and spend time with good people, because I feel like this person probably has like a good social circle. They probably have some really good friends around them. Yeah, okay. This person obviously is like a good conversationalist as well. Let's get another Venus sign placement. Okay, so now we have Libra. I feel like Venus in Libra has to be like a super attractive person. And we also got Venus in Taurus. I mean, both of these are like at home in Venus. So yeah, this person is very physically attractive. Okay, the person with Venus in Libra will tend to seek harmony in their relationships above all else, which can lead them to not express their feelings openly for fear of creating a conflict. We were talking about that a lot with this person. Like, they like to keep things happy. They like to keep things light and playful. They like harmony. They like everyone to get along, and they don't want to be an emotional burden for anybody. They don't want people making a fuss over them. They just want to have a good time. You know, they just want to have a good time. And so they're gonna kind of repress or keep those darker experiences that they've been through. They're gonna keep those feelings of any sort of negative emotional state that they would be feeling. They try to keep that down because they don't want to, again, be like an emotional burden to anybody else, even though they're like everybody else's shoulder to cry on, or the person everyone goes to cheer them up, you know? So yeah, that's something this person could work on, is letting other people be an emotional support to them as well. Okay. And we all have stuff you can work on, right? Nobody's perfect. Okay, now we have Venus in Pisces. It says the person with Venus in Pisces will be tender, devoted, and sweet. They tend to idealize their partners and therefore will be prone to disappointment. Yeah, I mean, they might look at you with rose-colored glasses or romanticize you a bit. It says also it may be difficult for them to set limits, which they must learn to do. Yeah, I mean, because this person has such an open and giving heart, they probably do need to work on setting boundaries and not giving too much. So this person may sometimes be like overly compassionate or overly empathetic to other people. And, you know, some people may take advantage of that. Okay, let's get some Mars sign placements now. Okay, we got Mars and Sagittarius. There's the happy-go-lucky. It says people with Mars and Sagittarius seek inspiring relationships. They're curious and want to live as freely as possible. They're also direct and somewhat impulsive. They don't usually seek commitment. The thing with Mars and Sagittarius, like, this is going to be This is going to be someone who really wants to have fun with their partners. This is going to be someone who wants to learn from their relationships, is really about growth. And yeah, I feel like you may, this may be someone who, because remember, we were talking a lot about them aging well and about them looking younger than they are. I wonder if you're an older person watching this, or if they're going to be older than you, but they don't look their age. Because if their Mars is in Sagittarius, maybe they've had their fun flings like when they were younger, and now they're looking to settle down, or they're looking for more of a commitment. Because again, like we were just getting a lot of messages about them looking young for their age and them aging like a fine wine. So yeah, I just wonder for some of you, don't freak out, but for some of you, maybe with this Mars in Sagittarius, maybe they have had their fun and now they're looking more to settle down. I mean, we are talking about your future partner, so you are going to be in a relationship with them. Okay. I think also with this Mars in Sagittarius, this is really echoing that idea of them trying to be an optimist and them being really, really warm and open and inviting to other people, because Sagittarius is mutable fire, so it's the heat that scatters from the fire, so they're really warm. And Sagittarius is associated with Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion and abundance. So this person, again, like seems very lucky, seems like they don't have a problem in the world, you know, that kind of thing. Let's see, what else? Okay, now we have Mars in Capricorn coming out. And by the way, like, feel free to claim some of these, but not all of these. It's a general reading, so we're just getting possibilities here. It says, people with Mars in Capricorn are confident, strong, and independent, but once committed, they need a lot of attention, feel very self-conscious, and fear being rejected. They're traditional and determined. Yeah, I mean, with this Mars in Capricorn, I feel like that's kind of alluding to what is beneath kind of that happy-go-lucky kind of exterior that we were talking about, whereas, you know, they're in that energy of like, I'm gonna fake it till I make it, I'm gonna try to seem as confident as I can, or like everything's fine, and eventually it will be, and eventually I will get there. And so then that becomes their authentic version of themselves, because they believe it, it becomes true. You know, that sort of weird, I guess, dichotomy. Okay. And they have to be really resilient to have gone through everything they have gone through and still have that sense of like, everything happens for a reason. You know, this is all gonna work out in the, you know, in the end. And if it hasn't worked out yet, it's not the end, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, now we have Mars in Aquarius. People with Mars in Aquarius are original and charismatic. We've talked a lot about their charm. They're attracted to the strange or different, and their behavior is quite peculiar. In relationships, they're unpredictable. They like to have fun, but don't fully commit. Some of you guys are going to be mad that two of these talked about not seeking commitment. You know, I mean, for some of you, I mean, maybe it won't end up being your forever person, but even if that's the case, you're still going to look upon this time with this person very fondly. It's not going to be a bitter, resentful kind of thing. But also, Sagittarius and Aquarius, especially Aquarius, I tend to think of that sign as being the sign of the best friend. I feel like Aquarius people make really great friends. And so I think even if this doesn't work out in the long term, you're still going to end up being really good friends with this person. But, you know, even if this person does have their Mars in Sagittarius or their Mars in Aquarius, and you're worried that they're not going to commit to you because that's their Mars placement, don't think that. Like, just because that is a Mars placement that doesn't tend towards commitment or tend to crave commitment or like need it 100%, or they're not going to be happy, there are still plenty of people with that placement in the world who are like happily married or have a life partner. You know what I mean? Like, just because they tend towards that doesn't mean 100% that's the case all the time, right? It's just a trend. And so I do think for some of you, like, this person is older. Like I've said, like, I think, you know, in their teenage years or their early 20s, they had their fun. But now, especially with the 10 of Swords and the 5 of Cups, everything that they've been through, everything that they've learned, they probably are in a place in their life where they are looking for that. So it, I think, also depends upon their age as well. Okay? All right. So, and maybe for some of you too, I mean, a Mars in Sagittarius or Mars in Aquarius person is going to be really, really fun. And like I said, I think regardless of whatever happens, you're going to have so many good memories with this person, okay? So group 2, this was your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. Like I said, feel free to claim like certain signs if you want to, and you can claim them down in the comments. And if anything didn't resonate, always leave it. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this reading, and I will see you all in my next one. I'm wishing you the very, very best. Last but not least, let's get into it. You all got the 4 of Pentacles, we have the Hermit, we have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the King of Pentacles, we have the 6 of Cups, we have the Tower, we have the 8 of Cups, and we have the 10 of Wands. I will say the first thing that's really standing out to me here, there's something about this person's physical appearance that feels really sturdy and solid. So if this is like a man, maybe they are really tall, muscular, like broad shoulders. They have like a, sounds kind of weird to say, but they have like a firm physique. So maybe they have abs that are like visible, like a six-pack going on, or they seem like, they don't seem thin, but they seem very fit, okay? Because there is something about them that just feels like rock solid. like you couldn't, y'all are gonna be laughing at me so much in this reading. Like, what are these physical descriptions? But like, you couldn't easily tackle them to the ground. Like, this is someone who is athletic. This is someone who is just really well built. And if it's a woman, like, she has curves. Like, she doesn't seem really like thin, and like she could just, like, you could push her and she would float away, you know, like she, again, like that solidness, yeah, like just, there's something you can hold on to there. With this person's physical appearance. And also, like, there could be like a height difference between you two. Like, I assume like if you're on the shorter side, then they would be the taller person, because it just seems like, I don't know, but there's a height difference. And this person with the Eight of Cups being here, as well as the Tower, I don't know if some of you have always been single, because that may be the case for some of you. For others of you though, it's just that this person does not really look like any of your exes. So like if you have dated the same kind of type of person, this person may just physically be different. So maybe if you've always dated blondes, this person may have dark hair. Or if you've always dated, you know, someone who's of the same race or ethnicity as you, this person may be from a different cultural background, that sort of thing. Like there just could be something about this person's physical appearance that's different than what you have dated in the past. So like, you know yourself. So if you've dated like the same kind of person, like, you know, if you've dated people who have certain similar physical attributes, this person could differ from that kind of template, okay? I do feel like this person isn't as serious looking as group 1's person. However, your person does seem more reserved and more introverted, and just, you know, they just kind of keep to themselves and they don't really involve themselves in like gossip or other people's business. So, you know, like if you meet them in a social setting, they may be the person that is just talking to their friend off to the side, or they may approach you to have a one-on-one conversation, but they're not going to approach you if you're in a large group. So if you're off to the side yourself, then yes, they may come and approach you, but I don't see this person coming and trying to talk to you if you're in the middle of like a big group of friends, for example. Yes. I will say here, with the Six of Cups being here, there could be something about them that seems very endearing to you. Like there's something about them that you find just very disarming is the word that they're telling me, disarming. They might have like a boyish charm, or if they're a woman, they may have like a girlish charm. So it may be their voice or the way that they laugh, or it may be some like little quirk that they have that kind of just melts your heart a little bit. You know how like some people like play with their hair, or they may have like a nervous tick that you notice, like again, like playing with their hair. They may like run their fingers through their hair as they're talking to you. Like I know I personally like push my bangs back a lot, like I'm always messing with my bangs. It could be something like that. I'm trying to think of other examples for you guys. Or like maybe they like tap their leg or something. Like there could just be something that they might have like an excitable energy, you know, like a kid that can't quite sit still. Yeah, there may just be something about them that you find really endearing. Like especially like if we're talking about someone who seems like really like physically strong and tall and muscular and all that kind of stuff, like if someone who seems like really solid, or yeah, like someone who's like well built, then if they have something about them that seems like really boyish and sweet, I could see how you would find that disarming if you're asking about a man. Yeah, they may just have something about them that just kind of melts your heart a little bit here. Sorry guys, I had to charge my phone, that's what I used to film. So anyway, I think what I was saying is if you're asking about a woman, you may notice, like for example, she's wearing a necklace and you ask her about it and she's like, oh, this is a locket I've had since I was a little girl, and it has a picture of, I don't know, like her childhood dog. And so it may be something like very specific like that you're like, oh, that's so sweet, you know, and it kind of melts your heart a little bit. Or, you know, like I said, it could be just something about them that just seems really boyish or girlish, and it just kind of like, you know, it's disarming because it's kind of in contrast, I guess, to like that strong physical appearance, right? Okay, I feel like hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I've expressed that well. Your group is a kind of an odd one, I think, compared to the others. With this Four of Pentacles, it's really cool how it's depicted here. I didn't use this deck for any of the other groups, but you know, this is the Circus tarot deck. So there's something about your person's energy where they don't want to be the center of attention. They don't want really to do all that, but somehow they end up being the center of attention. Like, there's something about them where other people just notice them a lot. You know what? It kind of carries the energy to me of someone who's very physically attractive but isn't aware of how physically attractive they are. So they get all of this attention even though like their personality is a bit quieter, with the Hermit, the Knight of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. Definitely a lot of earth sign energy. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn is indicated here, but you know, this person doesn't have the loudest personality in the room, but other people notice them a lot. And I think it has a lot to do with their physical appearance, because with this Four of Pentacles here, you see they're kind of all like falling before this, I don't know, like wild kind of structure. And then above it, there's like fireworks and this rocket. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are physically attracted to your person. So they must have a physical appearance that meets the typical beauty standard, because there's something about their looks to where they're like a crowd pleaser. Like most people would say your person is handsome, or your person is beautiful or pretty or cute, you know, like whatever. Like most people would agree your person is attractive. Like the general consensus would be this person is physically attractive, and they just don't notice it. Like, you know, and I mean, it makes sense. Like, we're used to seeing our faces every day in the mirror, right? Like, we look at ourselves more than anybody else does. And, you know, just by nature of, like, walking about. And so, you know, we get accustomed to our features. They don't really seem that special when you're looking at yourself all the time, right? And so I think we can become kind of immune to what makes us beautiful. Like, we just don't notice it or appreciate it as much. And so that could be like why your person just doesn't notice it, or maybe your person just doesn't put as much of an emphasis on their physical appearance. So yeah, I don't think they're dressing in a flashy way. I don't think they're overly concerned about their style. I don't feel like they're insecure. I just feel like they just don't realize how physically good looking they are. And quite frankly, I don't feel like they put a lot of effort into their physical appearance. I'm not saying they don't try at all, but they're not primping in front of the mirror for like 2 hours every morning. You know, like they're just not that focused on it. I feel like they're focused on other aspects of their life, and you know, they just get up, shower, brush their teeth, comb their hair, and they're out the door kind of thing. But they kind of have like pretty privilege, and they don't know it. Like it may be a little bit annoying to you, but this person like wakes up and looks good. Like, they could roll out the bed and go out the door and be fine, in terms of how they look. You know, they just wake up looking good. And they kind of look at other people like, why are you spending so long on your hair or your makeup or, you know, like whatever. And it's like, well, we can't all wake up beautiful. We can't all wake up handsome. You know, like, it kind of reminds me of the Kardashians and like that clip where Kendall Jenner is giving Kylie a hard time about her lip fillers, and she's like, everyone's beautiful. And it's like, well, okay. Okay. Everyone it's not helpful. Like if you're struggling with something and you have some kind of physical insecurity, it's not helpful for someone who is genetically blessed to tell you everyone is beautiful. Like, it's just not helpful. It's just not helpful. And so, like, your person may just be oblivious to their good looks. They may just, you know, they may take their good looks for granted, I'll be honest. And for some of you, like, it may make your future partner a bit uncomfortable because they may not want all the attention that they get because of their looks. Like, they may get annoyed that so many people try to flirt with them, especially if they're in a partnership with you. They're like, I don't want this. Like, I don't want to get in trouble with my partner. I don't want this attention. Like, I already have a person, you know, like, they're just, I do feel like your person's very faithful, you know, like, they're not eating it up, like, all this attention they get. They could care less about it, you know, and to them it's very superficial. It's very superficial. It's like, well, you're only after me because of my body or because of, you know, like, my face. Like, you know, you're not after me because of who I am as a person or my personality or, you know, anything like that. So, yeah, I think that they're just, I think they get bored with that. They get bored of people coming on to them and just trying, and that may have been something they struggled with, is that people just want to sleep with them and not necessarily, like, be in a committed romantic partnership with them. But yeah, I think that they just get kind of bored of it, and I do think, again, like, they're more reserved, so they're not really comfortable, you know, with all of that attention, or they don't know how to respond to it. And they may struggle too, like, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so, like, how do I let these people down easily without them getting offended? And they may have had to deal with that in the past, of, like, people being angry with them because they didn't reciprocate those feelings. And it's like, well, I'm just not into you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. You know, that kind of thing. This is a more specific message, but your person may be really into hats. They may, like, frequently wear hats. That's not going to be for all of you. Like I said, it's a more specific message. But they may really like hats. They could also really like shoes. Hats and shoes. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is. I can't explain it to you. It's just an intuitive feeling from your cards. Okay. We have creativity. We have destiny. So this could be a fated partnership, you know, someone that you're meant to be with. And it could be love at first sight, but really it's like soul recognition. And if it's a soulmate connection, it could be a sense of, like, deja vu. Like, have I met this person before? Have I known this person before? Why do they feel so familiar to me? You know, that kind of energy. We have organized, and we have good cheer here. Okay. And I'm going to cover up this good cheer card because it's a little bit revealing, and I don't think I've ever noticed that before. Okay. So I actually want to talk about this organization card because it's coming through, like, very strongly here. Your person definitely, like, even though I said that they don't put a ton of effort into their, like, physical appearance, don't think that means they have poor hygiene. They do the basics. And when I say basics, I mean they brush their hair, they brush their teeth, they floss, you know, like, they do the basics. They shower regularly, and they're very, like, committed to that. They do that, but they don't do anything fancy with their hair. If it's a woman, she wears very minimal makeup, if any. No, like, fancy hairstyles or anything like that. And this person's very clean, you know, like, they would keep their nails trimmed. They may not have a fancy manicure if it's, like, a woman, but always have, like, short, clean, tidy nails. Like, they are clean. They just don't, you know, do any fancy beauty treatments or, you know, spend a ton of money on their wardrobe or wear anything that's gonna be like, very stylish or anything like that. Like, they're just kind of very kind of just, like, bare bones in terms of how they dress. But here's the thing, with that creativity card coming through and organization being here, because they dress, they have like this weird paradox to them, but because they dress so simply and they're naturally like very physically attractive, right? Genetically blessed, okay? That calls more attention to them than the loudest dresser in the room. And it reminds me, I don't know why the Kardashians keep coming up because I don't watch their show, but if you live in America, I feel like you probably know so much about the Kardashians just by default because they're just everywhere in like our popular culture. But anyway, there's a clip of the Kardashians where Kim and Kourtney are getting into a fight. I don't know what it's about, but Kim tells her, you're like the least interesting to look at, or you're the most boring to look at, or something like that, she says to her. And I think in that scene, Kourtney's just wearing like a white t-shirt and jeans. And when I had like initially started like watching the clip or whatever, I thought to myself, Kourtney looks really, really good. Kourtney looks so good. And then Kim had said that, and I was like, that's so funny, because I had initially noticed how good Kourtney looked. And I think it's something about that. It's like, because I'm dressing so simply, my beauty is able to shine, because there's nothing about my outfit that is detracting or distracting you from my physical appearance. And so it's like, it's like their beauty, their attractiveness is like, or their physical features is what is on display, because nothing about their style is distracting away from that. They're not wearing loud prints, they're not wearing unique silhouettes, they're not wearing super trendy fast fashion kind of things. And so because of that, because of how plainly they dress, it actually calls more attention to them, and it calls more attention to those natural physical features that they have that makes them so attractive. And so their beauty is allowed to shine through. And so it sets them apart from other people, because it's different, right? Like if you look at, because I guess taking it back to my example here, like everyone else in the family is wearing these like outlandish, very provocative clothing choices, and Kourtney's over here in a white t-shirt and jeans. You notice that. You notice the person who is different. And so even though you would think a white t-shirt and jeans is really not inspired and really uncreative, weirdly enough, because it's so different to how everybody else's outfit is saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, that is actually what ends up standing out, is the white t-shirt and jeans. And so, yes, I feel like your future partner here has a plain way of dressing, but it looks really good and it works for them. And it actually ends up being what sets them apart from everybody else who is dressing to get attention, right? Okay. I feel like I'm just like, I don't know, like everything about your reading, I'm so sorry. I'm having to be like, I know this sounds weird. I know this sounds weird. I know this sounds weird. And it's just how the messages are coming through. So I apologize. With good cheer here too, like I do feel like part of what makes your future partner so attractive is that they're not self-conscious, unless some of their admirers are giving them, this unwanted attention. Then yes, they do get uncomfortable, but otherwise, like, they're not fussing with their outfit. They're not, like they dress to like have a good time, like they aren't inhibited because, like, for example, if this is a woman, she's not walking around in really high heels that are super uncomfortable and that prevent her from having a good time, right? Like, because she's not dressing like that. And nothing against high heels, but I'm just saying, like if you're wearing more comfortable shoes, you can have a better time than if your feet are killing you, right? Or, if this is a man, he's dressed in comfortable clothing and he can enjoy himself and enjoy what he's doing rather than, again, like fussing with his outfit. I remember like it was like a thing like years ago to wear like multiple belts, and it was like so ridiculous. And it's like, you know, you're just messing with all these belts. Like, you know, they're not dressing in like a trendy, crazy kind of way where it impacts their ability just to have a good time, you know? Okay. We have financial health here. We have life purpose. And we have compassion. Okay. I feel like with this financial health card, I mean, your person's not like burning away money on their physical appearance. Like I said, I don't know, like they don't need a lot of upkeep. There's not a lot of, they're not a high maintenance person. They're really low maintenance. Like I said, like they do the basics, they have good hygiene, but that's it. They're not doing plastic surgery. They're not doing any fancy beauty treatments. They don't use expensive creams and products and, you know, all that good stuff. None of that. And they really are, I just feel like, comfortable with who they are, comfortable with where they're at in their life. And it's very like, what you see is what you get with me, you know? And they have a sense to themselves where they really do try to build other people up, you know, like, because, I mean, they're comfortable with who they are, you know, and they don't have, because, you know, sometimes when people have insecurities, they kind of end up being bullies, or they kind of end up being, like, mean-spirited. Like, I had a friend when I was in high school, and she was always pointing out to me like little nitpicky things about my appearance, and it was to the point to where like I couldn't hang out with her without her saying something negative about my physical appearance. And it was always something really petty. Like, she would see me put on chapstick and then immediately say to me, "Your lips are dry." And it's like, well, you literally just witnessed me putting on chapstick, like right in front of your face. So I'm aware, you know, like the chapstick isn't gonna work immediately. Like, that's, you have to like repeatedly apply lip balm. Like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. like, is this necessary for you to say this to me? No, in no capacity is this necessary or helpful. And you know, people can be mean when they're insecure. Hurt people, right? Like, they can be really mean-spirited, and to make themselves feel better, they put other people down, and that's unfortunate. Your person's not like that. Like, yes, they're beautiful. Yes, they're, you know, over there looking like an Adonis or whatever. Like, they're very physically attractive, okay? But, I mean, out of all the groups today, you have, I guess, the hot one. But they're not arrogant, okay? They're not arrogant about it. They might take it for granted sometimes, but they're not arrogant whatsoever. They're not full of themselves. They're not walking around thinking they're God's gift to everybody because they're so hot. Like, you know, that's not their attitude. And in fact, they're quite kind and generous to other people, and you know, they want other people to feel good, you know, and to feel comfortable with themselves, and they try to build other people up, you know. Yeah. They just have a good energy. And I will say as well, like, if you're watching this reading and you do have some physical insecurities, or you question what I'm saying, like, I don't know, this person might be out of my league with the way that you're describing them, please know that this person is 110% going to be physically attracted to you. But also, if you were to open up about your physical insecurities, they're not going to make you feel bad about it, and they're not going to use it against you, okay? Like, this person would be a safe space, okay? We have imagination, we have intuition, and we have courage. Okay. In some ways, I feel like this person's going to look at you like you are the person of their dreams. Like you're their dream girl or guy, whatever, you're their dream person. And they're going to intuitively feel that. Like they're going to intuitively feel like you two were meant to be together. I mean, you did have the Destiny card, right? I do feel like even though they tend to be more reserved, and even though they tend to kind of stick to themselves or stick to their inner circle kind of thing, I actually do feel like, especially given we have courage here, I feel like even though it's going to be out of character for them, they are going to be the one to approach you first. And I feel like when they do so, they might be a little bit nervous because that's not typically what they do. So I don't know. If a really physically attractive person comes up to you and tries to make conversation with you, remember this reading and give them a bit of grace, because they might say the wrong thing, or they might stumble on their words a bit, because it's not what they're typically used to doing. Because remember how I said this person's very physically attractive and they're used to getting a lot of attention romantically. I think this person usually has people seeking them out regardless of their gender. They usually have other people seeking them out, and they usually have to turn a lot of people down. Because they just get a lot of attention because of their looks, okay? And so it's gonna be like out of character for them. It's going to be out of the norm for them to approach somebody, but it gives sort of the energy here of them like seeing you from afar a little bit, feeling like Cupid's arrow is kind of striking, like that soul recognition, that feeling that feels like love at first sight. And they're gonna feel compelled to go over and speak to you, but they're not used to having to do that, quite frankly. So just give them a bit of grace if they are nervous, you know, because it's just not what they're typically used to having to do. And I know we're getting outside of the realm of their physical appearance, but, you know, if a message comes through, I want to be able to say it and not feel so restrained by the topic. So I hope that's okay. I know some people get a little bit upset if I veer off topic, but I feel like that's an important message to know, quite frankly. They can kind of can get lost in their thoughts a bit. Not the way that group one's person did. Like, I feel like this person might just daydream a lot, or they're not thinking about like what they have to do tomorrow or next week. They're just kind of fantasizing or having a daydream. They might just space out sometimes in conversations. I wouldn't take that personally if that happens, but sometimes they can come across as a bit spacey. They just kind of get lost in their thoughts sometimes. Lost in a daydream sometimes. I also feel like, once they see you, I 110% bet they're going to be daydreaming about you a lot after that first initial meeting. Okay, now we have take a walk, we have make a meal, and we have sing. Okay, with the sing card, this person might really be a good singer. But for a lot of you, I think you're just really going to love their voice. So it may be the pitch of their voice, it may be the tone that they speak. They may be soft-spoken, or they may have a deep voice, or they may have a musical voice. But there's something about their voice that you really, really like. Some people have a good voice over the phone. And so that may be a thing as well, like you really like how they sound over the phone. with this make a meal card here and the take a walk card, I do feel like this person does, like I said, like they do take care of themselves. They're just kind of like a simple person. Like they have their routine. I don't know, like they're just not fancy. Like they're not fancy. Like they just, you know, like they cook a good hearty meal at home. They may like meal prep. You know, like if they're working out, they just run or swim. They're not out here doing like Tai Chi or something. Like they're not they're not fancy. Like they're very like basic about things, but it's like, you know, they're a person of like simple pleasures, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But they will be someone who's like physically fit or, you know, in good health, so to speak. But they're not, you know, doing anything super extra, I guess, to achieve that. Like they're not out here taking kickboxing classes, or they don't follow, you know, like I had someone explain keto to me like one time, and I was like, that seems really involved. That seems like like when people talk about a lifestyle change, I was like, wow, that seems like a lot. I don't know, like that just seems like, I was like, man, I couldn't do that. That just seems like way too much for me. And I feel like your person kind of has that energy, like, you know, they're not counting carbs or following some sort of like fancy regimen in terms of like exercise or their diet. They just eat well, move their body, done. You know, like they don't complicate it. They're just a very simple person, just in general. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get some messages now. I'm sorry, I feel like we didn't get as specific with your group as I did the other two groups, and I'm sorry for that. But I mean, I like your group, and I hope you do too. I feel like I've said a million times your person's going to be good looking. Like, and I'm sorry for that, but that's just like what has come through like over and over and over again. So it's, in a way, it's like you have the best group, and in terms of like details, you have the worst group, but it is what it is. Okay. So these are going to be some love messages for you. And then what we're going to do after that, we're going to get 3 possible Venus sign placements and 3 possible Mars signs placements. And we're going to use this really pretty book that I have for the explanations for the placements, just because it's a gorgeous book and I want to be able to use it. So that's what we're going to do. And, oh, I should go ahead and say this as well. So what I'm about to say, take it with a grain of salt. Like I was telling the other 2 groups, it is more of like a heteronormative type of thing, but I have read that the Venus sign placement in a man's chart can talk about or refer to the type of woman he is attracted to, and the Mars sign placement in a woman's chart can talk about the type of man that she is attracted to. So you can apply that if you want, if it applies to the placements that we get. Otherwise, you can ignore that and just take the placements to refer to how they are in love. Okay. So we have soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. I mean, you got the 6 of Cups, you got the Destiny card, and now we have soulmate. So you kind of got that message like 3 times at this point. Love to see that for you. We have keep an open mind. Your soulmate, oh my gosh, soulmate again. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. I can't remember if we said that in the beginning or not, but I feel like we did. I don't know. Anyway, So there may be something about them that is different than what you're expecting, or it could be honestly that they're so good looking and you're like over here thinking that they're out of your league when they are very much physically attracted to you. Are both of you good looking people and don't recognize it? Like, is that what we're dealing with here? Maybe. We have engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Okay, so this person, especially with it being a soulmate connection here, this could end up being your life partner. This could end up being the person that you marry. This could be referring to like you will live with this person, you will get engaged to this person. There's a potential for that here. So this does feel more serious, okay? It doesn't feel like a casual fling. We have self-worth. Okay, yes. So maybe you don't realize how attractive you are either. And so you need to remember that. Maybe you look at this person and you think they're too good looking, they're going to break my heart, or you know, that they can't be serious about me. Look in the mirror, because you have a lot to offer as well, even beyond your physical appearance. We have codependency here. You know what? I don't feel like you struggle. I mean, for some of you, maybe you do struggle with being alone, or you do struggle with being single. For a lot of you though, I think with it coming out next to the self-worth card here, it could be referring to in the past, maybe you had partners who cheated on you, or who abandoned you or rejected you in some way, and then that created trust issues to the point to where you got nervous if your partner was out late at night or was somewhere without you being there, and then maybe you felt like you needed to keep them on a shorter leash because you didn't trust them to be out late at night without you there, or to be around certain people without you being there because you were afraid they were going to cheat and be unfaithful. I don't know why that's a more specific message, but for some of you, I feel like that old fear or that old worry might come up because this person is so physically attractive. And so I feel like this reading is here to remind you that A, you have a lot to bring to the table too, don't down yourself, and 2, you're not going to have to worry about that with this person. This person is not your ex, okay? Oh, and then we have trust. So yeah, you will be able to trust this person. This person will be faithful. Okay, love that for you. All right, so, oh, I'm sorry. You guys can't really... Sometimes the way I lay out these cards, man, it's not the best. I'll watch a gem goddess video, and obviously, like, she has all these beautiful crystals and a gorgeous setup, and I'll watch how, like, carefully she places the cards, and I'm like, always just throwing them places. Okay, anyway. So now let's get some Venus sign placements for your person. We'll get 3 signs. So possible Venus sign placement for group 3's future partner. Feel free to claim whichever resonates the most with you. We have Venus in Scorpio. The person with Venus in Scorpio will experience intense loves and hates. They tend to feel hurt or disappointed easily, but also can't resist magnetic people. Jealousy or power struggles may appear. With Venus in Scorpio, this is the type of person that's going to fall in love and fall hard. So no wonder they feel so intensely attracted to you. No wonder they're like magnetically drawn to you. This is a person who's gonna love you more deeply probably than anybody ever has, just because they have that capacity to feel that intensity of emotion, for sure. And I feel like as well, you know, they could be more sensitive as a result of that, for sure. Okay. Whoa. Okay, now we have Venus in Aquarius, so that's a huge difference. It says the person with Venus in Aquarius will flee from ties that bind and will be attracted to unconventional, cool, and extravagant people with whom they'll be able to establish a close bond. They're not jealous at all if the moon doesn't contradict this. Okay, Venus in Aquarius. Okay, this is actually how I think it applies for your person. For your person, if they have a Venus in Aquarius, I feel like this is speaking to how we were talking about it being almost like this weird paradox of them being so like plain in how they dress. You remember when like normcore was a thing, but they're just so like plain and classic in the way that they dress that actually makes them stand out versus them dressing in like a kooky, trendy kind of way. That's kind of, I feel like, where that Aquarian energy is coming from, like in their style. Like it's like this weird kind of thing, like, you know, you would expect them to blend into the wallpaper, but actually they stand out a lot because it's their physical features that are allowed to shine against, you know, that plain backdrop of their clothing. Okay. So it's like even though they're dressing simply, that weirdly makes them unique. Because our Venus placement can talk about our style too, like our aesthetic. Oh yeah, of course they got Venus in Libra because they're really, really hot. We have the person with Venus in Libra will tend to seek harmony in their relationships above all else, which can lead to them to not express their feelings openly for fear of creating a conflict. I do feel like this person will definitely try to please you a lot because I feel like they're falling head over heels in love with you. So I really feel like, you know, if they could give you the world, they would. You know, they would just do a lot for you to see you happy. They really do. Yeah, I mean, they might romanticize you a bit. You know, they're definitely kind of putting you on a pedestal, okay? So let's get some possible Mars sign placements for this person, group 3's person. We have Mars in Aries. The person with Mars in Aries isn't violent per se, but what the heck are these descriptions? But they are impulsive and active and have a lot of energy. They're not afraid. We were talking about them having kind of like, you remember how I was saying they might be a little bit antsy or they can't sit still and it's going to give them like this boyish or girlish charm, like a little kid that can't sit still? That's kind of reminding me of that with that Mars in Aries. It says they're not afraid to take the first step in a relationship, but they usually don't remain interested for long. Okay, don't worry about that, guys. Physically, they will be fiery and passionate. I mean, I feel like with Mars and Aries, this is echoing that idea we were talking about, that of them taking the first step towards you, them initiating that initial conversation. But here's the thing, with Mars and Aries, they might, again, remember how I said extend some grace towards them, because they might say the wrong thing. Like, Mars and Aries doesn't have a filter, so they might say the wrong thing. They might come on too strong. They're not used to it. They're not used to it. So, you know, they might just kind of like bulldoze in there. Like, you know, and they might just come on too strong. They might just come on too strong. Okay. Okay, now we have Mars in Capricorn. People with Mars in Capricorn this probably is their Mars sign placement, because we got, I think, like 2 Earth sign cards. We had, I think, the Knight and the King of Pentacles. Oh, and we also had the Hermit, which is Virgo. So yeah, 3 cards indicating Earth sign placement. It says people with Mars in Capricorn are confident, strong, and independent, but once committed, they need a lot of attention, feel very self-conscious, and fear being rejected. They're traditional and determined. Yeah, I mean, they might deal with that a bit as well, because we were talking about them not understanding or not fully realizing how attractive they are. Yeah. I do feel like this person's going to be like a steady, reliable person for you, though. I mean, I don't feel like you would have to worry about that at all. Because, I mean, it really feels like to me like they only have eyes for you. Yeah, like there's nothing that we've gotten about that would indicate to me that they're a player, you know, in any sense of the word. Okay. Also, I forgot to mention this, but we got Cancer here. But let me say one more word about Mars and Capricorn people. They are like very practical when it comes to love. I mean, they kind of look at it like if you were starting a business with somebody, like who can I build with? Who can I grow with? Who is going to be like a practical choice? So I feel like that's a nice energy to get, because we were talking a lot about them falling in love with you at first sight, romanticizing you a bit, putting you on a pedestal, you know, having like Cupid's arrow striking. So I like that we got Mars and Capricorn, because to me that kind of grounded out some of that lovesick kind of energy we were picking up on before. So I like to see that. Okay, Mars and Cancer. People with Mars and Cancer, which is the opposite sign to Capricorn, people with Mars and Cancer go through the same situation both when facing a problem or arguing and when starting a relationship. They find it difficult to separate the emotional from the rational or physical. Their decisions in any area are guided by the heart. I feel like this book's a little bit harsh in its assessments of these different signs. Mars and Cancer, this is going to be someone who is very like, if it's a woman, very maternal. If it's a man, very paternal. Someone who wants to take care of their partner, wants to show up for their partner, has a feeling of like they feel like home. And yeah, like someone who can be like sensitive once you get past that hard outer shell that Cancer has, but they're fiercely protective of the people that they love. They really are very dedicated. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this was your reading, group 3. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun for you. Thank you to the subscriber who suggested this topic. And yeah, if you want to see more readings like this, please let me know. And have a great day. Please take care. Wishing you all the best, and I will hopefully see you in my next one.